double check those. But just in general, if you have symptoms, you're congested. So you want to just make sure to take those things out and make sure the exits are working well. I think those are the things people should focus on.
Yeah, pretty fascinating when you mentioned the skin being sort of like the first alarm system for people. As we learn in school, like when you have the blockages of elimination in the stool, right? Especially in the stool, in urination, the body's intelligence takes over and goes, all right, well, let's get it out through the skin, all that crap. And it manifests as those inflammatory reactions, like psoriasis, which is interesting because on the other side, when you present like that to a dermatologist, they'll just silence those inflammatory reactions with creams rather than going, okay, well, how do we optimize the body's elimination? So elimination is one of the biggest things. How about sweating? Where does that play a role?
So sweating is important, I would say, to do on a weekly basis, at least 3 to 5 times a week if you can. So that would mean like getting up and moving and moving your body and sweating. That is a really important part of things, and something super easy, easy to do, relatively easy to do to get those toxins out. And that would kind of deal with your lymphatic system and kind of moving those toxins that are in the lymph out of the body. And I remember that when I had eczema and I would scratch, it would actually smell like metal because I had high levels of mercury in my system, and it would smell like metal. And that's because the mercury was trying to get out of my system. So if you sweat, you're actually going to help your body to release those things.
Yeah, which is why I love saunas, IR saunas, infrared saunas. People they don't even have to buy one. They can just go locally. Most places have them around in cities. Or you can just get one, even a mobile one that will be helpful to start detoxing.
The only thing I think there's some things to think about in terms of EMF and those mobile ones, but I think there's ones that are...
There's low EMF one out there. There's the Therasage, the mobile one that is lower EMF, and then like the non-mobile ones, like Clear Light, that's the one that we have at the place. That one is low EMF as well as sunlight and another one. But the importance of doing the sauna can't be understated, especially for detox. And yes, they've measured that they've seen heavy metals are able to come out through the sweat. There's studies on this that I've read. I wrote a few for some saunas or some spas about this. So that's one major thing. I think some people aren't aware that one of the best ways to detox heavy metals, or even particularly mercury in a woman, is to get pregnant, right? Because that passes right through the placenta, right to the child. So children inherently are born with over 200 toxins in the umbilical cord blood, but also these heavy metals that are passing through. How does that manifest in a child? It's different, right? Based on the funnel, right, and genetics. But that's why a way to look is, are these kids being born with eczema all over their body, and why? Okay, well, it might be an issue with dairy or maybe an issue with gluten, but maybe it's something deeper.
Yeah.
So look at the parents,
I find that it's deeper most of the time because I see a lot of babies and newborns in my practice because I support the pregnant women, and then I see their babies afterwards. And even in my relatively healthy, or they've gotten healthy type of patients, these babies are coming out with eczema. And I do think it's that accumulation of toxins that has been carried down through generation as well too. So like my mom had toxins, and then I probably gave some toxins to my daughter, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think dairy and gluten, we want to look at those things, but I really just think those are the cherry on the top. Like, I think that's what's exacerbating the already full funnel that these babies are having when they're born.
Yeah, 100%. I've seen parents take out those dairy and gluten, and the eczema not get better. So at that point, they have to go a little bit deeper. And you're suggesting that going deeper should absolutely be a review or analysis of how toxic is this baby, right?
I love treating these babies with homeopathy because it's so gentle and so safe, and it opens this system so that the system can detoxify itself. And I feel like it does get on the cellular level of detoxification. So I like to use homeopathy on these kids because it's so safe. You can administer it very easily and it works. And babies are so vital. They have a really vital energy. And so if you just kind of do the right thing, the body will respond very quickly. And you want to address these problems or symptoms at the beginning, because if you don't address it, what happens, it'll turn into something else. So, I think pediatricians often say, oh, don't worry, your baby will grow out that eczema. Yeah. And often what's happening is the body's just shuffling the problem to another place. And so from eczema, your baby might get constipation or some gastrointestinal problem. And then from there might be ADD or ADHD. And then if you don't get it at the root, it will morph into other types of illnesses.
Yes, certainly. The more we sweep all that dirt under the rug, it just changes into some other. It's going
to come back to bite you at some time.
Yeah. And one thing I will say about homeopathy, it took me a really long time to be fine with homeopathy, especially wanting to go deep into, okay, where's that double-blind study? Unfortunately, you ain't going to do a double-blind study on homeopathy. Yeah.
Although they're working on it,
there is some data, especially in my residency. I pulled out a bunch of data with homeopathy in the context of pre-surgical and glioblastoma in the brain. There was one with, I think, Ruta. But regardless, what I did see clinically, especially working with you in school and on myself, is that it's really powerful, really, really powerful. And then working with you in the Bay Area, it was just incredible to see how fast children respond, babies respond. At some point I was like, this might be the most powerful medicine I've seen. You just have to know how to do it. You can't just go to Whole Foods and go, all right, let me just pick this one out. This might work, but there has to be a strategy. And I've seen you use those strategies and really change kids' lives pretty fast.
Yeah, it can be pretty magical if you get the right remedy. It's just kind of like acupuncture. You go in, you have some pain on your shoulder, you leave 30 minutes later and it's gone. And it's really just working with that energetics of the system. Any of those blockages that are energetically there, moving that and allowing the body to just do the job it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if there's anyone listening who doesn't vibe with it. That's okay too, but I know certainly in my clinical experience, it's been a game changer. And I've seen you use it really well with people, and we use it on me in school, remember? And I was like, what is going on here with me? And you're like, well, it's the homeopathy. I said, oh my God, I forgot I took it this morning.
Yeah.
That's when I became a believer. All right, so look, we're in quarantine. People are freaking out. They're stressed. My immune system's a mess. I know that you've been working on some immune stuff yourself for folks, right?
Yeah. Well, I think, I'm seeing patients virtually, but I had a little bit more time than normal. So I decided to create a guide for everybody that's free, and you can access it at trulyimmune.com. And what I did was I gathered all the research on the vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathic remedies, essential oils, kind of all the things we use as naturopathic doctors and that I found to be really helpful in my practice to support the immune function. And that's both to support it if you aren't, sick yet. You can just take some really gentle herbs and vitamins to support your immune system. And at the onset of illness, you can actually take higher doses of vitamins and herbs. And I like to do them every hour for the first 6 hours that you're feeling sick. And what that does is it boosts your first level of your immune system called the innate immune system. And what that part of your immune system does is it basically has all these cells that eat the microbes and make sure they can't get to the next level of your system. So the guide basically has all that information, like vitamin A, I super love. I like to call it the anti-infective vitamin. I really like that vitamin in a cold or a flu, and so I think that could possibly be helpful in a COVID-19 situation, just because my experience has shown me that increasing vitamin A can be really helpful. Vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, those are ones I really love for vitamins.
Yeah, and we will reiterate, this is not like prevention or cure or even treatment or anything like that. What we're saying is that right here you have a guide that we know naturopathically, evidence-based, that can possibly support, just so we protect each other.
Yeah, it's really just about boosting the immune function.
Yeah.
And the hope is that that boosted immune function can do its job like it's designed to do. right?
Exactly.
And there's no known at this time treatment or prevention of COVID-19, et cetera, et cetera. But we do have good studies that have shown that there have been reduced effects or symptoms of the cold and the flu with these vitamins in my guide. So, yeah.
So that was, and somebody asked, what is the website again?
Oh, it's trulyimmune.com.
Okay, trulyimmune.com. Now you guys have a website. You can check that out, read over everything. I'm assuming there's supplements on there, correct?
So there's supplements if you want to buy them there. What I've done is taken all of the herbs and vitamins that I really love and that I've noticed have boosted the immune function really well in my patients, and I combine them into some supplements. So there's a daily supplement that you can take every day to just support your system. And then there's one that you can take if you have the first signs of an illness, just to boost that immune function even more, and hopefully, give yourself more of an army to fight the microbe that's trying to attack you.
Okay, so we have a guide on nutraceuticals and whatnot. Is there any other things that we should be doing that you suggest outside of that, even like foods or be in the sun? What do you think?
Yeah, so in my guide, there's a whole food guide. And you want to make sure to eat the rainbow. So right now, we're actually doing a Truly Immune Challenge, which you can all still join. I started on Monday, but you can join at any time. It's a 7-day challenge where you're going to eat at least 3 rainbow-colored foods and at least 2 greens a day. And I think while we're all quarantined, it's harder to eat these rainbow foods because we can't go to the store as much. But in my guide, I give you all the servings that you can buy for the whole week. And so if you can just stock up and make sure to get those rainbow foods. Like vitamin C is really high in citrus, and you want to just get all of these rainbow colored foods. So when you look down at your plate, you want it to look like a rainbow. I know we're supposed to stay indoors, but we should be going outside and getting a little bit of sun for vitamin D. That's really important. So I would say at least 15 minutes a day between 10 and 3 p.m. is really important. And I think a lot of us have stopped moving as much as we normally do. We got to move our bodies. So I wake up and I try to do sun salutations every day. That moves your lymphatic system and it gets your heart rate going. And I try to just do things in my living room, like crunches and things like that. And, run around the block if you can. Of course, staying 6 feet away from anyone else. But
run around,
yeah, but, getting sun and moving your body, drinking enough water. All of these things are things like no-brainers that we maybe all know to do. But our immune function will work better if you're doing all those things, getting the right amount of sleep, and then stress. Stress is like the immune system killer is what I call it. It'll literally kill your immune system. So I know, like when I was in school, if I just didn't sleep for the whole night because I was studying, the next day I would be exposed to something and get sick, because we are exposed to things all the time. And it's just how strong our immune system is in terms of it will fight it off or not.
Yeah, and one thing I say is turn off your TV if you're getting stressed. And the number one source is going to be an overblown, hyped up, hyperinflated number of how many people are dying from this. When I was very vocal about what's going on, but that's going to be relayed to you and cause so much more fear, right? Rather than, okay, let me just observe what's going on, but turn off that TV, go outside, go meditate, go journal, go do things that really serve your growth.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a great time for that, right? I think we should be looking at it in that way. Okay, now we have another month to spend on ourselves, on our health, on our, inner work and things like that. I think we don't ever get this time in our normal lives, especially here in the Silicon Valley. I don't know about you guys, but Silicon Valley is go, 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 go. Never stopping to just breathe and spend time on yourself. And so I think it's a good time to do that.
An excellent time. It's a golden opportunity, what I say, because it's unprecedented. At what point is everything going to be on pause where we're not in the system and we have the time to actually critically think, observe ourselves, go inward. So that's a big part of the stress thing. So really, thank you for giving us all of this golden information. I mean, I still love that detox funnel. I use the cup analogy. The funnels, it's amazing too. I love them both. But so to reiterate, keeping that in mind, that we are exposed to this crap. Not everyone has the same capacity to get rid of it, right? We have the mechanisms to get rid of it, but we have to optimize all of them, right?
Yeah, we have to make sure we're doing it. So the challenge is to do it every single day for 7 days, and hopefully